without a doubt. I think when you talk about parental engagement, obviously since I'm CEO of National PTA, I talk about it all the time. Because I recognize at the end of the day, our school systems cannot do what they need to do without effective parents and adult caregivers. They simply can't. When you look at what the, what the solution needs to be for young people today, we've got to think differently and fundamentally differently about how we engage folks in this day and age. And what parental involvement looks like for each of us is drastically different. You just saw 4 presentations, and all of them are different, but they all have the same common objective. How do we get parents directly engaged in the academic process for their child? And I harp on that all the time, even our dads. I said, that's great you want to get on the football field and you want to teach him how to play basketball, but you need to make sure he can read, write, and do arithmetic at the end of the day. I'm concerned about getting dads involved in the academic life, not just the athletic life of the child. How do we engage every sector of the community? And for some reason, we let the faith-based community off the hook. So as parents who are here today, I would tell you that we've got to hold every segment of our community accountable. And I believe you go to wherever parents are. If that means you want to meet in the 4 walls with the principal, great. If you want to meet at the Boys and Girls Club or at the bowling alley, then meet there. As long as you have a collective audience that are concerned about moving the agenda for children forward. We've got to think differently in this day and age about what that looks like. That requires us to think of new models of what parental engagement is. As I've said once before, and I'll say it again, what worked for me and my family may not work for you and your family, and it's not designed to work that way. There is no one-size-fits-all. The last time I checked, there are a wide variety of family structures that exist in our current society. So what that means is I cannot take the traditional approach and apply it to a non-traditional situation. We do that. We call that education, K through 12. We call that a child who spends from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. the following day doing whatever it is their parents or caregivers would allow them to do, playing video games, watching television, doing homework, eating a balanced or unbalanced meal. We let them do all of those things. And then we ask them at 8 a.m. to please sit and give me your undivided attention for the next 60 to 90 minutes. And truth be told, you as a fully functioning adult, when you go to work, you can't give your boss 90 minutes attention, but you expect a 7-year-old to do it in a 2nd or 3rd grade class. We've got to be realistic about the educational process for our children. That just doesn't make sense. So we've got to change this thought process of how we get folks directly engaged in the educational system. I tell people it is a collective effort. A rising tide raises all ships. And we all have a collective responsibility in this journey on behalf of our children. All you got to do is watch the news. All you have to do is read the newspaper. And more importantly, if you really want to know what's really happening, all you have to do is talk with your kids, and they will tell you. But the key thing is you've got to be willing to listen. I learned very quickly when I kept talking with my nephews when they moved in with me, and they would say, well, Uncle Byron, our teachers really don't care. You know, we got 32 students in the class. I can't understand Spanish because we live in Arizona. The majority of the students, they speak Spanish as their native language, and therefore our teacher has decided she needs to be teaching Spanish to serve the masses. And I kept saying, Brandon, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not listening to you. You need to pay better attention in class. That's what you need to do. You know how we do because we think we know everything. We're the adults. Until I went and sat in one of his Spanish classes, and I'm like, I don't even understand when you said hello. I speak French. I really speak 2 languages, English and money. The rest of it I do not comprehend. But as I was sitting there, it dawned on me that I need to pay better attention and not just listen, but I really need to hear and understand what they are saying. And we have to do that as an adult caregiver, as a parent or a guardian of children in this day and age. That we've got to pose the question and have a conversation. And I will tell you that it all begins with a relationship. A relationship with your child, a relationship with your child's teacher, and a relationship with your school administrator, wherever your child goes to school. You've got to create an effective relationship, and you should understand that communication is not one way, it's 2-way. It's not I send a directive to you as an educator and then I send one back to you as a parent. That's not communication, and neither of you are in a position to dictate what the others do. The last time I checked, I don't think a single parent wants an educator to come in their home telling them what to do. Does that make sense? And therefore, I don't think a single educator wants a parent coming into their classroom telling them how to do their job. Y'all got quiet real quick on that. I want you to think about that. So instead of it being an either or, why can't it be a yes and? Why can't you sit down at the beginning of the school year and say, this is the educational plan for our child. We collectively have a responsibility. Between 8 and 3, this is what you will do in the classroom, and between 3:01 and 7:59 a.m., this is what I will do at home to support the overall objective to ensure that Johnny learns. And that's the reality that we face in this day and age. And you all will be applauded because I feel like I'm singing to the choir. I mean, you all get it. You do the work already. But you need to be encouraged to know that there are a whole host of folks, contrary to popular belief, that they do not get it. They don't understand that there must be a connection, that it is not designed to be an adversarial relationship. It is designed to be a partnership because we share in this collective responsibility to move the educational process on behalf of every child in this country forward. We failed an entire generation. It's a fact. It's not a question. It's not a statement. It's a fact. We failed an entire generation. Research shows that this will be the first undereducated generation in our nation's history. A generation of children that will know less than their parents. And I want you to think about that. A generation generally takes 10 years. So obviously we did not get here overnight and we will not correct the situation overnight. But success does not happen overnight. It happens over time. So we call upon businesses, community leaders, anybody that's willing and able to sit at the table and say, how do we figure this thing out? Because guess what? It's not just your child whose future is at stake. The entire nation's future is at stake if we do not get this right.